you seen the most development out of that first offensive line group?
Well, probably what you see the most out of it is the rookies. I think we've seen a lot of development and taking steps forward from Austin Barber and Spencer, the guys that you would expect that to occur. Obviously between Elton, Zion, and Titus, you expect them to play well, which they have. So it's just been hard because we all been, and most teams go through this, haven't had them all in there at one time, but that's part of camp.
So why did Barber move inside this week?
We just want to see him inside, along with seeing maybe KT at tackle. Yesterday, we want to take a look at that. It kind of came out of, when Tevin was having a few issues with his back, we thought, well, why don't we, before we get too far down the road, look at Austin at guard? Because you're really trying to piece it together. Austin at guard, KT at tackle, could Elton play guard? Could Whit play center? Parker got dinged up. We were thinking maybe he could be at center. We're just trying to move those pieces around to see what the best combination is.
Todd, how has Taylon Green been doing in his limited amount of reps, I know, but and do you feel like he will get some time in any of these preseason?
He'll get in the preseason 3. He's doing fine, really smart, doing a really good job, but we just don't have enough reps for him.
What have you seen in the competition for the depth in your secondary in particular?
Well, we've been banged up there, losing Terrence. D. Ross has been out, and I know I'm missing some guys that have been out. Miles has been out, Bryant. So we've been banged up there. So it's been fun watching Michael Coates play. I mean, that's guy just shows up every day and makes plays. So that's probably the one that stood out with the other guys beat up at corner.
How concerned are you with the depth behind the starters at corner, given all those injuries that you mentioned?
Well, not yet. We aren't playing a game yet. As we get closer, certainly, trying to find a third corner is on our radar. And and within the guys we have here.
Kind of going back to Austin, you talk about seeing it. We've talked a lot about Spencer moving from right to left, but Austin played primarily left at Florida and moved to right. Just how has he kind of handled that transition?
I thought he did really well yesterday. I mean, you wouldn't have thought that he hadn't played guard before or even on the right side. So I was really impressed yesterday with the way he handled it. And I thought KT looked better at right tackle than he did at guard. Sometimes things just happen a little too fast inside, at least now for them. I would never say never, but actually looked a little bit better flipping those guys.
Todd, you mentioned yesterday this idea of callousing, take a few more bruises now, it'll help you later. In what areas down the road do you think that can help you guys?
Well, it's been proven the more reps that you get, whether it's in preseason games or in practicing against other teams, that you get some nagging injuries, but you callous yourself for some of the major injuries down the road. Now, again, knock on wood, we won't have it this week either, but I'm just fired up about the way our guys practice. They don't blink. Came out yesterday. I know I meet with you guys beforehand, but that was a pretty damn festive practice. I mean, the guys were fired up, got a lot of good work yesterday, and which is impressive for some of those guys really didn't play a lot on Saturday, and then having Sunday off. Usually you don't have that kind of juice, but that's just how our guys are wired.
Todd, Alex today was talking about some of the stuff he's learned from working with Jared. I guess looking at him, Alex, from the spring till now, how has he grown, and how can you think he can up his production maybe?
Well, it's hard to really say. I haven't been here with Alex in the past, and in the spring we don't have pads on. From afar, I've always had a lot of respect for Alex, how physical he plays. And I think he's really developed, not only being around Miles, but then Jared. I think he's developed a real niche for pass rush, being a kind of a crafty, powerful pass rusher. And I look forward to seeing him. I mean, the more he plays and the more opportunities he gets, I think you're gonna see it.
Alex and Denzel talked about life without Miles for the first time. You game planned against him. How do you think offenses are going to approach the Browns defense differently than they did when Miles was out there?
Well, we still have Jared. I mean, that was the greatest thing about the trade, is you get a Pro Bowl player in return. So, and going against either one of those guys is very, very difficult because they can wreck the game. Miles was a guy that could wreck the games. You have to know where he's at all times. And Jared's one of those guys. We had to do the same thing at the last place I was at. So, you know, it really, you'd have to ask the other teams of how they would approach that. They're both special players.
Full pads today, longish practice. What are your hopes?
Full pads today. Yesterday was really just shells. When we put the pads on, we will get 9-on-7. I mean, certainly we've got to, irrespective of what we face defensively, we've got to be able to run the ball better. It starts there. You can't control the game. I think from a pass protection standpoint, when you got the full pads on, you have a chance to really see where you're at, hard in shorts and spiders. So that's what it is. To me, it's really, when you put the pads on, it's about the guys up front.
We saw Elton take a few snaps off yesterday. First team. Is he dealing with an injury?
We'll see. He's got a few nagging things. I mean, lower body. I don't know if he'll be out there today, but he's fine.
So Carson Ryan's kind of had to, take on a lot of different roles, especially, kind of moonlighting as fullback too. Just where's his development there, and where's your comfort level with him? Like if you have to, play a right receiver again today in terms of carrying out those various roles.
Well, he's still a work in progress. I mean, he's a rookie. We're asking him to do things in the backfield as a fullback, which he didn't do. I think he's willing. I think he's physical, but learning to get his pad level down and strike, and then have moving targets. And he's a developmental player in a lot of areas, and I've been really impressed with his work. He's certainly been durable. He's been out there every day, which is important. We haven't had that with every tight end in the group. So I'm excited to see his progression over the next few weeks.
How do you feel about your edge rush rotation, just the guys that you have right now? Do you have what you need to get the job done the way you want to, or do you think maybe you'll still keep your eyes peeled?
I feel good about the guys we got. I think we're always looking for another edge rusher, corner, potentially a blocking tight end. You're looking for guys that you can fill in spots, and that just happens to be one of them.
There's always so much said about camaraderie and communication that's necessary with the offensive line, and those guys kind of coming together. When you have an entirely new group in terms of like the players that are here, in what ways can you kind of help that process, especially when you only have so many reps that you can have like in a game setting like a preseason?
Well, it helps if you can run the football. That's probably the most important thing, if you can stay ahead of the chains. Obviously, I'm not even talking about the operational piece, but if you can run the ball, because where a lot of that communication comes in is when you have to throw it, with all of your pass protection rules, communicating with the quarterback in the back. So your ability to run the football, stay ahead of the chains, and the ball can come out, certainly helps with that. You're definitely up against it if you're throwing it, get back on track, third downs, 2 minute, you better be on point.
Todd, you guys signed a wide receiver this morning. Is that sort of because of Said being out, kind of to give you another?
A little bit that way. Said being down, Cole had dealt with a little bit of a hamstring. He's fine. So just to make sure we have enough legs in practice.
Safe to say we're not going to see Joe Ward at all.
I don't know that. That's. I'm hopeful that we get Joe back soon, but I can't speak to that.
Good.
Well, that was it.